races here. We're going to bring you 3 short little sprint races with the LMP2 and GTD class. Starting out tonight at Barcelona, followed by Suzuka, and then finishing off with Donington. So we're going to get to see these cars in action with some shorter races and a little bit of goofiness there as well. And I am joined in the booth by someone, a familiar name, Zach Nurnberger. We've had him report in the car, but now he's in the booth. So how you doing, Zach, and what are you looking forward to tonight?
Well, I'll be glad that I'm speaking to you guys and not crashing. But again, 3 really different circuits for these guys. Donington, a little bit smaller one. Barcelona and Suzuka, a lot more familiar for the endurance kind of stuff. So gonna be good close racing, sprint format too. So a lot of not as laid back as perhaps normally will be, but a lot of nose to tail action.
Yeah, they got a little bit of practice in there. No actual qualifying for these races, so it just ends up being sorted by iRating, I believe. But yeah. So on our quote-unquote poll, we have Paul Skip for the LMP2 class, and for the GTD class, we have Garrett McAllister.
Yeah, I believe we will see them go single file here as the grid is rolling. Good number of cars in each class. Get the green flag.
We don't have both of our champions from last year, but we got some real contenders in here for sure.
Oh yeah, we're definitely not short on talent at all. Garrett McAllister, Nick Floody, familiar faces. Paul Skip, Steve Coubet, Jeff McDonald, John Kelly, Keith, Roy Croft, all a bunch of guys that you see battling. So good to see these guys out here for preseason, and that's how you get good, I guess. Getting out here doing races, good to have everybody back.
Looking forward to some good racing here. It's going to be a tough one here at Barcelona. Not the easiest track in the world, but let's see how these guys handle it. As they're coming up to the green, Paul Skip will be leading them. They are going to go double file, it looks like. Top call to get the green here.
Green.
And there you go.
They are going. Takes him down into turn 1. Going to be a tough braking zone here. We can see John Kelly right behind in his iconic paint scheme he's had on his GT3s. Paul Skip's got the outside of this next corner, but then the inside, it's a great battling zone here. Looks like he's going to be taking the lead there. Steve Coubet.
That's always a tough position to start in. You have that cut back to the left-hand side. So if you can start him out, slider, as their guys like to say. First place, but good job by Paul Skip on that sense there. Cut to the front. Got the lungs to the right. Not really touted as the best by the best car, but has some straight lines on the right hand. You never know. Let's see if Garrett can do.
Let's see, we have Mark Dillon Jr. go off track here. Let's see this. Oh, it looks like there may have been contact right before that. Gets out of the way though, getting off track.
Yeah, unfortunate for Mark, but we've seen people come back from worse before, and Mark, of course, one of more talent. Definitely one of the fastest drivers in the field there, just losing the rear end. Not too much damage though, so I think we'll be able to slap on some duct tape and keep going.
Oh, that was really close. Jeff McDonald got extremely close to the back of John Kelly there. Garrett McAllister letting Kelly through. Kelly and McDonald both having incidents early. But at the front, Paul Skip still leading with only a half-second gap back to Steve Coubet. Coubet, I apologize. We've been pronouncing his name incorrectly for him. Steve Coubet, just behind Paul Skip. Looks like Anthony Dring sitting there in 3rd place. That's a new name, but falling off those top 2 a little bit as Paul's actually now pulled about half a second since we last mentioned his name.
Yeah, Paul pulling in some good laps. Just staying consistent. That's what we're all about. Sprint race, obviously, everyone talks about the endurance and just staying consistent. Paul's got to do something a little bit different than he's, used to doing. But pulling about a second and a half here on Steve Coubet. really good opening stint.
Yeah, Paul is a guy who had the mathematical possibility of winning the championship last year. Was unable to attend the final race, however. Nick Terrell did everything he needed to lock that up. But Paul finishing third in the championship behind Tyler Langenberg. Obviously, will have his eye on getting the championship this year.
And the LMP2 Classic, I remember, one of the more hotly contested championship battles we've had in the last few seasons. So all bets are off. You know, it only takes a single race or two to tip it in your favor for the team. So
Yeah, looking
a lot of guys that are going to be fighting for
the field got Anthony Dream. He's up 3 spots. Leonardo Elijah has made up 2 spots, as well as Jeremy Barber. The GTD class a little bit more sitting still. Garrett McAllister still holding that lead. He's actually got 2 seconds on Nicholas Bloody ahead to see. Was also 3/10 faster on that lap too. So holding the lead and actually extending that gap.
Like we said, Ford likes to fight people, but punching back, Nick Bloody is definitely not a slouch. So be interesting to see, like you said, more of a sprint race, 30 minutes rather than endurance race, but see if the Ford GT can hold up over the course of time.
Looks like Keith Orton may have had an incident here. This gets a little bit wide. That's in C. That's a really common corner to understeer. It's very difficult, so it'll be one that's going to catch out more than just a couple people.
Yeah, especially once you get on those marbles too. You know, you lose a lot of downforce at slow speeds with these prototype cars. Then you catch the marbles, and you know how it goes. It's like a stone rolling down the hill. Just one thing turns to the next, and luckily no damage or anything, you know.
Yeah, Anthony Dring here in 3rd place, already kind of finding himself a lonely race. He's a little bit off of Steve Cubey ahead, but has a lot of gap to Kim Boycroft behind him. We just saw that incident, so a little bit of a safe space here as Aaron Claybaugh back there in the GTD class must have had an incident. Let's check this. Just a little bit too wide to see what the car didn't turn in.
Yeah, base looked very, very similar to Keith's there, just a little bit too far off the apex.
Again.
Marbles, 3rd. Yep. Oh man, rains it was.
Keep me on the wall, but
That's the most important part. Yep. Looks like Mark Dillon Jr. may had another off.
he was off for 8.5 seconds, but we got Jeff McDonough all over the back of Jeremy Barber as he makes the pass. John Kelly's hunting him behind as well. And through Lakeisha, it's one of the best passing opportunities in this track, and they made use of it.
Yeah, you gotta take advantage of that battle behind you now. We're trying to get away here while they are tussling behind. Really good opportunity to make some time.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff McDonald's not that far off the guy in front of him. He's only 3.5 seconds. Obviously down 3 before he started. Had a couple incidents, but he's not out of the race.
Definitely not. You know, it takes 1 or 2 mistakes, and that's it. You're right back in it. So, plus you always get the advantage of multi-class racing. You know, you can deal with traffic. Sometimes works to your advantage, sometimes not, but never really out.
Look at these guys here. Paletti has certainly closed up the gap on this lap. It was over a second before, and has now brought that down to just 3/10, hounding the rear of that Ford GT.
Yeah, I believe they're pulling a big gap. Top 2 here. Brad and Aaron falling behind.
Yeah, both.
This is what I was saying. It's the Ford GT. Need that Ford power ahead.
Yeah, it's definitely a scary car to drive sometimes, but he survived while the 3 guys in behind those 2 have had incidents early. But these guys both running pretty perfectly as far as incidents. It's just some of the best paces. Eric McAllister was 0.6 faster on that lap there.
Yeah, of course, Nick Bloody here, you know, he has the advantage of the slipstream. Probably take it a little bit easier, save some tires. You know, just get the benefit of that reduced drag there. It creeps up on him a little bit down towards the braking zone, but here's the down.
Yeah, I mean, it should be something that is pretty difficult because the fuel may come into, be a big deal here because I believe they're still running that 50% fuel with a 30-minute race. I mean, that's cutting it pretty close. That's usually about how far a 50% fuel tank can go. So some of these guys need to be thinking about fuel early.
I think the fixed setups, I believe,
It starts with 45.
sprint setups actually only have 45. Yeah, so I'm thinking roughly an hour tank puts you at, after math, 27.5 minutes. If that's correct. So obviously doable on fuel saving thing. Kind of just depending on the track, really. So it'll be close. It'll be very interesting to see. Maybe just tries to predict the one-stopper for everybody and just starts in early, and just tries to forget fuel saving altogether, or have a little mix.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to follow as Paletti has the fastest S Sector 1 of all of the GTD field there. McAllister 2/10 slower, but basically clawing back those next 2/10 in this second sector of the lap, and continues to hold the lead. Obviously, that Sector 1 advantage from Paletti may partly be due to the draft that he has coming down into turn 1 as he narrowly avoids that. Wow, that was really
You gotta
good.
keep up the rubber strips. Yep. You have to be careful recording there too. Going to tear off the splitters and rubber strips there.
McDonald made the pass for P5 and Leonardo Elijah here. Let's see how he made it, how he got it done.
Yep, just got a good clean run. Just the rim inside. Down for us. Textbook fast.
To the front, Paul Skip continues to pull away. 32.8 on the last lap was 1.1 seconds faster than Steve Cubé, but Anthony Dring in third place has actually given Cubé a run for his money. I was talking about he had a kind of boring race, but look at that, now he's all over the back of him.
Yeah, Anthony Dring, I believe, half a second faster on his last lap. Of course, it's the benefit of the slipstream a little bit now. So, personally for me, it's always get that little bit faster when you have someone in your sights trying to chase him down too. So I'm sure that helps just that little bit extra.
Yeah, you can see there how the gap slowly grew over those first 3 laps, but then Dring has slowly chipped away, well, not slow, quickly chipped away actually at that gap, but very consistently over each lap he's been faster, and he's going to be able to make a move for the position pretty soon. It looks like John Kelly also got around Jeff McDonald here. Oh, Jeff McDonald had an incident, that's why.
Yep. Just a little bit of gravel, kick up some rocks. Not too bad, but
McDonald certainly not out of it. He only fallen back to about a second behind John Kelly. Both these guys have lost some positions, but they've had actually some pretty good pace on the track.
yeah, it's tough. Only 19 minutes to make this back up, but he's got, I believe, is that John Kelly right there in his sights? So.
Yeah.
And I believe they're, as a group, catching up on Leonardo Elijah right now, so it's still 18 minutes left, and they can make a charge of the pack back up towards the front. So there's still plenty of spots to gain.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like the GTD field is just a 2-man battle. All the other guys have about 20 seconds between each other after having some larger incidents than the LMP2s generally have. It actually hasn't really strung out that much given the number of people we got, but you can see Paletti there. He's still close enough to see Gareth McAllister ahead, but that gap has grown back to 2 seconds. And you can see there on the last lap, he was actually 1.5 seconds slower. So a really bad lap for Paletti, but has the chance to make it back up. As you can see in lap 5 there was very competitive between the two.
The other thing too is, especially with the tires getting a lot softer now, tire temps, tire wear, playing a lot more part than it used to. You just gotta be a extra bit careful trying to chase them down. Make sure you have a solid car. Don't wear your tires on too much. So Paletti gotta probably kind of come up with a new game plan here and kind of counterattack it.
Anthony Dring passing Steve Cubé here for P2. Oh, a little bit of a wobble by Cubé there in Lakaisha, and it gives Dring just enough advantage to flip his car.
It was very impressive to keep that under control.
Yeah, it was really good. Making use of the opportunity that was given. I don't think he was planning on making it past them.
Great pass by Dring as well. I mean, you were off the track, but not like you had a whole bunch of room too to sneak around the outside there. Good job, everyone all around.
Yeah, we can see there the time delta between McAllister and Paletti. And Paletti had got it close for a couple laps and then lost that gap again as it returned to that 2 second or so spot that we got between them. It's 1.5 seconds now, which is closer than the LMP2 lead is. Paul Skip riding out there quite comfortably there, and 5-second lead to Dring behind, who just took that spot from Cubit.
Yeah, and the whole top three within 6 seconds here. And actually, as we see, Paul Skip really been unbothered this race so far. He's been nice and quiet. Not always the most fun, but hey, a lot more fun when you're in first place, huh?
Ooh, Eric Claybaugh, little incident here. What do you think happened with the car there?
Oh man, it's a tricky one. I mean, maybe just hot tires. I don't know. Was it him that we saw earlier in the wall? Maybe just a little bit of damage or something.
Yeah, it's very, very
Just
close.
a little bit of everything, you know. You have the suspension banged up just a tiny little bit, and tires get hot, just get loose, and that's it.
Is this going to be another understeer event into seat? Well, no, actually, just maybe worried about the understeer, but not too much harm there.
Yeah, at the rear wing, you don't really see a lot of samples here in that one, but yeah, like you're saying, maybe just overcompensating. I'll stick there. Okay. That downforce on the outside.
You can see that actually Anthony Dring was 2/10 faster than Paul Skip on that previous lap. Skip has the fastest lap of the race, where they were put in 31. Kind of been taking it a little bit easier, but you can see there Dring has been consistently catching up, with the exception of lap 8, where I believe that's where he had made the pass on Steve Cubit.
Yeah, we're looking about 9-ish laps to go. And about a 5-second gap here for Green Paul Skip. So he's gonna put some good work in here. But as we saw, catching GT3 traffic, and you never know, lose a second or two here and there.
Seems like it's a foregone conclusion
Yeah.
that Kelly's going to be able to get around here. He just looks like he has so much more pace, but he does have damage to the front of that car.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be affecting him too bad. I guess we'll see maybe some of the high speed cars and maybe a little bit of dirty air affects him.
I don't know if he had that damage.
With slower speed stuff, the downforce kind of washes away anyway.
I don't know if he had the damage before, but he put in that 133, which is pretty competitive with the guys that were trying to see Paul Skip doing 32.9 there.
Yeah, one of the, I believe, third fastest lap class round too. Thereabouts. I mean, not far off the fast lane overall, so obviously not too badly affected him, maybe losing a mile per hour or so. But you can see
Steve Cubet passing for P2. Let's see. Did something happen ahead?
the Claybon the rumble strip there.
Let's play ball. Something happened to the Anthony Dring. Figure out.
Oh
what
yeah. See if I can.
Oh. Oh wow! Yeah, he just lost control of the car, and we didn't even see him on the screen there. That's how Steve Cubet made that pass. And luckily, Dring only losing one more spot to Keith Roycroft. He right there, Roycroft.
Yeah, that turn one, at least from my experience, is a little bit trickier than it looks. So you kind of just break the zone, you know, a little right left, try and set up the 10-3, but brake guys backed up a little bit too far. There's a little elevation change there. Next thing you know, you lost the rear end.
And we got not too many big gainers. Roycroft and Dring both up 2 spots there in the 2 class there. Obviously, Jeff McDonald having a few incidents, unfortunately, and he's dropped down 5 positions. John Kelly looks like he finally was able to make his way around Leonardo Elijah, was down in the last lap.
Bloody and Claybon, or excuse me, Garrett McAllister. Just closed up a big gap. Actually got down under a second. Now back up to 1.8. Might have caught some traffic there, but almost was able to take advantage of it.
Yeah, that's definitely come down a little bit. See how the
it looked like Nick Flooding was a little bit better than that braking zone. And he was making some good hay there in Gary McAllister, but unfortunately just the luck of the draw caught him there. Didn't really lose much time overall, but he did lose the advantage that he gained the second one.
Yeah, it looks like they've been trading for these laps and manages kind of keep swinging back to the ways for guys, but it's going to definitely set themselves apart from the rest of the GT field. And actually, Dylan Jr. and Claybaugh, at the very least in the pits, will be able to turn.
Yeah, unfortunately not tonight, Mike don't want it, but we do this format is that we will have 2 more races to get back, give them for us, do it again, so unfortunate, but how race to go.
Elijah there got past in the previous lap, but he's actually been able to hang around to see how he's able to manage this traffic. That was a poor time, unfortunately, to catch your GTD car.
Little Tony Hawk there, 50-50 going to the final corner.
Yeah, you really got to use the curve in some of those spots. And LMP2s often don't agree very well with curves, depending on how you hit them.
Yeah, the GTD cars do a much better job there taking those curves. The historic layout also, for anyone who hasn't driven it, you can pretty much put your left-hand side tires on those curves. So as long as you're not upsetting the balance too much, you're kind of cheated a little bit. But as you saw there, you take just a little bit too much, and that floor there won't be too. Just comes right off, you lose the downforce. But good job gathering it back up.
We look at Paul Skip here, and there's just no one even comparing to him right now.
I think Paul Skip's going to be doing his Master Staffing impression here and turning down the motor. He's got about 9 seconds on the field here.
Yeah, it's interesting there that we're looking at best sectors of the entire race, and Paul Skip actually was pretty much equal to QA on their fastest laps, but he just is so much faster than everybody else on the track in Sector 2. He's got 4/10 to his closest competitor back there, QB, and they've actually matched to Sector 3 exactly to the 1,000.
Yeah, in Sector 2, you do. Well, I don't know, Paul. I was gonna say you can't get the benefit of slipstream in Sector 2 to kind of affect your times, but I mean he's been so far up front, he doesn't have to worry about getting any slipstream. So yeah, just that middle sector, just keeping it smooth, keeping the momentum, and you just gain time all down the straight.
See there as the gap has just slowly been increasing. A couple laps where QA was able to match Skip, but on the whole, Skip not really losing very much time in any of these laps, and he's about to make it a 10-second lead.
And it looks like the next of the traffic is going to the final 2 corners now, so he's got plenty of clear track in front of him, about 5-6 laps to go here. So I think Paul Skip's looking just to keep focused, not making any mistakes, and put that Lotus machine in victory lane.
I mean, look at that consistency as well. I mean, outside of what I assume is lapped traffic there in lap 11, really consistent. 32s he's continuing to put down. And some of these guys have not even been able to put in the 32 all race.
Yeah, and a lot of lap times now, low to mid 33s. So, and doing it that consistently, hard to beat that kind of pace and consistency. Another major number. But he's closing the gap a little bit by about half a second, down to 1.5. A little twitch there too. This one,
I don't think you have to at least stress out too much about the tire wear with a 30-minute race. Obviously, just going to be running them to the end. I am interested to see how the fuel runs. The LMP2s are full fuel, so they will be not having to pit for sure, but GT3s may actually come pretty close.
Yeah, that could definitely still be a plot twist. I mean, you could always speed in the pits, you could accidentally take tires. I'm kind of wondering if no one stops super early, maybe they are going to make it on fuel, because you'd like to think that maybe somebody would just try and split it 2 stints down the middle, maybe cool their tires down the pits or something. Some sort of alternate strategy, really. So they might just be making it, but it's got to be close.
Anthony Dring looking to make the move, and Keith Roycroft, you can see he's caught up over these last 3 laps after losing the position in that turn 1 incident. Over a second faster in lap 13. See if he gets around and down in this great passing zone here. He's getting used to the old turnoff there. Great move there by Anthony Dring. Able to move his way up to the podium spots there in P3.
Yeah, really good overspeed to Keith Roycroft too. I wonder if he was a little bit worried about running wide, taking to the gravel. Of course, it doesn't matter how fast you go, put it long, but really good run by Anthony Dring, and almost inevitable there when you have that whole middle sector straight. Those 2 fast right-handers, a lot more slipstream. He's catching up to slight upticks here. Might give Keith a second chance. Brad McCombs.
Yep, very poor time. Unfortunately, catch some traffic. Brad McCombs getting out of the way. Doesn't look like Ring was too upset about that there. He's dropped that down to 5/10, but Roycroft not close enough to be able to make a move in these next few passing zones.
Yeah, good job by Brad there. Nice and fair to everybody. Keep this battle going. Be interesting to see if Keith had a little more fight left in him.
Battles here. We have this drop down to about to get under a second there using that slipstream.
Absolutely.
Much better.
Nick Floody doing really good there. It might determine whose car has better balance here. I'm trying to see what kind of traffic they're running into. It looks like not a lot of traffic to the middle sector either, so I don't think anyone's get any advantage in that sector.
And you can see there over the last couple of laps, McAllister starting to catch up. Looks pretty, lose some ground as Paletti. Looks pretty confident in that car. The BMW is one of the most stable GT cars. Pretty strong when we're coming down to just past the 5 minutes to go mark.
Yeah, Gareth McAllister last lap at 40.55.
Definitely fast enough to make this a conversation. Probably we just have, 3 or 4 more laps to go in this race?
Yeah, it looks like about 3 at the line here. Gareth McAllister, though, very fast sector 1, and put it several tenths there on Nick Floody.
Yeah, you can see that despite the draft that Nicholas Paletti had, their top speeds were actually identical at 260 kilometers an hour. So Ford is known for being pretty quick in a straight line. And certainly helped him out on that last lap. It's helped him keep the lead as well.
Paul Skip, I think last time we checked in with him, about 9 seconds. He extended that up to about 13 here a few laps ago. And it looks like he, barring any unforeseen event, will be taking that one.
See Jeremy Barber there. He's running in 7th place. About to lap these couple guys here of Paletti and McAllister. Great Lego themed car.
This could definitely be interesting here. It looks like he's going to catch Nick Floody here at a pretty decent time, which will allow him to go right up the inside.
Getting the slightest bit of lockup going in that corner, but able to make it through safely. And now it's going to be Gareth McAllister hoping to not lose too much time because it's only a second half between the two.
You have to get him down the straight, otherwise it's going to lose Gareth a lot of time. Oh, see, I was thinking he might go up the inside there in this little section.
That's definitely what McAllister
probably,
wants to see.
yeah, Gareth McAllister probably looking in the mirrors and just praying there.
McDonald just getting in the grass a little bit. Oh,
and there it goes. I was going to say, yeah.
Woo.
Ooh, and I'm not sure who that was. Is that Keith Roycroft?
Leonardo Elijah there.
Leonardo Elijah. Yeah, once the wheels start wiggling a little bit, temperatures get in there.
Let's skip there. Lapping Jeremy Barber after Jeremy Barber had a little bit of an incident there. Let's see exactly what happened. We caught it at the very tail end. He just made his way past Gareth McAllister in Lakeisha. Hopefully not affecting their race there.
Too heavy on the right foot, and that'll do it. But yeah, thankfully for both the GPD drivers there. And it looks like Alistair plugging in the pits, and there is going to be a pit stop 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, if Paletti can't make it, then you know you have to. He's typically, him and Tyler Langford are two famous fuel strategy experts, so it had to be something that was mandatory.
And it looks like Gareth McAllister only a 4-second pit stop to Pletti's 11.
I have to wonder if that was a mistake by Paletti there taking
Yeah,
tires.
and that looks like that is going to be disastrous for Nicholas Paletti there. And yeah, Paletti down to 8 seconds behind.
And that's pretty much wrapped up that race for TT3. Obviously, we had a couple races coming up where he can try to get his revenge, but it's looking like Gareth McAllister in the Ford, no less, it will be able to cruise to victory here ahead of some pretty noteworthy names. I mean, these are strong drivers that he's staying ahead of.
Absolutely. Fortunate end there for Nick Paletti, but you know, one thing you can't argue about is the fight that he put up there. Sad to end it on a pit strategy error like that, but you gotta learn from those mistakes. You know, that's what preseason's all about. Fine tuning, he'll go into the next race. Knowing the strategy a little bit better, making sure those kind of things don't happen.
And that's a unique issue with sim racing, but that's what part of sim racing is. You have the difficulty of calling your own strategy, calling your own tire and fuel decisions, all while you're trying to race as fast as you can. So you kept it close for this entire race. Clearly, we saw you at the pace. McGruff dip into the sand a little bit there. You probably don't want to do that too much.
Yep. And on that note as well, you know, these guys are used to the 100-minute races. Obviously, you know, every 12 weeks or so, things, you know, tweak and change, VOPs, that kind of stuff. These guys, on a 30-minute format, this is the first time doing this, so, you know, you kind of have the general idea of the strategy and tweak it a little bit. These guys are coming into this one absolutely fresh.
Yeah, and especially a couple guys there in Keith Wycroft, John Kelly, Leonardo Elijah, Jared Barber, Jeff McDonald. All those guys did GTE for almost every race. I think Keith Wycroft did one race in the LP2 last season. They're kind of sizing up the car and the class and deciding which one they're going to compete in because they have that option of doing either class.
Yeah, and with that in mind too, even next race, you know, we might see some drivers switch back and forth a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see if that comes into play. It looks like Paul Skip here, coming around the last final corners to a pretty quiet race, but quiet in a good way for Paul Skip. He's going to take the win in race number 1.
Final historic couple turns here. We're turning that in real life to this track soon. Early finish line here. Paul Skip's going to come ahead as the winner. Race 1 of 3 for this preseason day. 17 seconds as it stands. Gap back to Steve Coubet.
Lead that start to finish. Look at that, slapping a 1:31.73. The only car to break into the 31s, and well into the 31s at that.
Steve Coubet finishing his race there. 17.8 seconds back to Paul Skip, P3, and then 3.5 seconds back to Anthony Dream.
Wycroft taking P4 and is going to wrap up the podium for the 17s there as you see Gareth McAllister come to the final corner to take his maiden victory on the night.
Interested to see if he uses that. He had a little damage to the rear there, but I'm interested to see if he has uses that Ford for the next couple of races there. Nicholas Paletti crossing the line there, second place. Obviously,
valiant effort.
A couple guys not finishing the race, so Brad McCombs is our final guy on track.
Yep, Brad McCombs just taking it through the final 2 corners there in the System X machine. The Audi R8, not one we haven't seen in a long time, actually.
Yeah, we've only seen a couple guys run it in the previous season. I believe Patrick Ripley is the hitting that curve pretty hard there. Luckily able to finish the race here on this track, though.
Yep. Hey, Brad paid for the whole track. He's going to use the whole track. And he's going to grab his podium position in the GTD cars.
And our results. I'm going to be I'll be honest. can't get it to switch to the race results. That is a feature I'm gonna have to figure out there. But our finishing order, don't have it pulled up, but name it off. Paul Skip as our winner for LMP2, followed by Steve Cubey, Anthony Dring, Keith Roycroft, John Kelly, Leonardo Elijah, Jeremy Barber, and Jeff McDonald. And then for our GTD class, our race winner, Gareth McAllister, followed by Nicholas Paletti, Brad McCombs, Mark Dillon Jr., and Aaron Claybaugh. So we will be getting ready for the next race in Suzuka. So we will be right back in just a few minutes. race winner, Paul Skip, and be able to hear a couple words from him from the previous race.
How you doing, Paul?
Doing good. How are you guys?
Having fun. Now, tell us about that race. It looked like you're kind of doing your Red Bull impression there. Almost 15 or so second victory. Turned down the engines. Take us through that one. How that one felt.
Felt pretty good. I haven't really driven in a couple of weeks, so it felt good to get back behind the wheel and still have something for everybody, I guess.
That's always good. What about we know fuel's good. How are the tires actually on the LMP2 there? I know they're kind of notorious for getting hot and understeery. A little bit different format with a sprint race. Did you kind of have to change up the driving style a little bit, or not too bad?
No, it wasn't too bad. I didn't really notice any drop off through those long hairpins, like coming through the first section. I noticed it was pushing a little bit at the end, but it wasn't any better or any worse than the last season. So
That's good. Well, fortunately we are running a little short in practice time though. Congratulations on your win in the first one. See if you can make it back to back. Good luck.
thanks, guys.
Next driver we have in here is Steve Kubay. Steve, do you have us?
Gotcha. Thanks, guys.
So talk us through that race. Obviously, Paul Skip had a really strong drive coming into Suzuka. How do you feel about this track in particular?
Suzuka, I like it as a track. I've driven it in a couple open wheel cars, so I got a good feeling about it. But this is my first exercise in an LMP2, so really I wanted to try and stay as close to Paul as I could, see if I could pick up anything as far as where to put the car. I did not end up in the weeds, so I guess I did okay.
GT3 traffic, Barcelona. It seemed like it caught out a few people here and there. You feel like it affected things a whole lot, or do you think you're able to drive around pretty well there?
Well, I guess the whole thing is keeping your eyes forward. I saw a couple of dust ups and points and managed to make it through it. So I guess it's just being extra attentive, and you're going quicker, so you got to react faster.
Yeah, we definitely saw a few cars trying to go around the outside, catching the marbles. Next thing you know, you're playing golf in the bunker. So
That's for sure.
a few minutes left here. We'll good luck. Nope, see if you can get the victory this time around.
All right, thanks, guys.
Good to hear from our first two finishers there for LMP2. A couple guys that we saw have some pace at points during that last race. Chuck McDonald and Keith Roycroft had the two fastest times here. Again, with no qualifying, the grid will just be set by iRating, so the actual time they put in this practice session doesn't matter, but we'll see how they do.
And we will actually, on that note, have a new pole sitter, Ryan Tyler, who I believe has not actually yet set a time in practice. He will take the pole from Paul Skip. As Paul Skip going around in the circle there in practice. I guess better do it now than in the race.
Yeah, we have actually a lot more names here from the previous race. As far as in the session, we have Christopher Craig, Ryan Tyler, like you just mentioned, James Kingsbury, Tony Watson. Yet to see any of them put down a time, but they're all here in the session, so excited to see how they do. Have just a few guys putting in time. Much longer track here than Barcelona.
We'll call it 20 or so seconds to the lap times here. Patrick Ripley joining us, and a really balanced field too as well, which is really nice to see. Give everyone, we may not like it, but there's a lot of traffic, bringing traffic into play.
Yeah, a lot more of those names I mentioned. Not all of them actually, other than Ripley and Tyler. Yeah, a lot of them joining that GTD class though. Just had 5 guys in the previous one. It's really close there by Leonardo Elijah.
Jeff McDonald there giving him a good scare. Yeah, good job sneaking it by.
Yeah, I mean, if we were talking about the previous race at Barcelona being difficult, here at Suzuka is a whole other level. There's a lot of turns that can really give you a mistake, but it's such a classic track. It's it's got so much character to it. It's one of the only tracks that actually crosses over itself with a bridge, which is a very unique little feature, but it allows for some pretty good racing too.
Really tricky, especially that first sector. You know, you miss entry to one, well then you're slow into the next apex, and you know, especially the big line of cars and a lot of traffic checks everybody up. So really, really tricky. A lot of high speeds up in the walls here are a lot closer, as you'll see, than they were at Barcelona. Barcelona, we saw a lot of guys, you know, run a little wide into the sand trap. Here at Suzuka, unless you're in the final sector, you're going to be hitting something.
Yeah, absolutely right. And furthermore, it gets compounded when you've got multi-class running as well. So that first section, hard enough when it's just one class, and then with the multi-class, that's a rough place to get stuck behind a GT3 when you're an LP2 guy trying to catch up to someone in front of you.
Yeah, I see Brad McCombs there going to that final sector. That's going to be pretty much the only relief either of these classes have. In terms of, you know, having a little bit of a margin of error.
Yeah, there's some spots here where you cannot afford to make a mistake, or at the very least you'll lose some time on your laps. But if you crash right now, dang, there's a good chance you're just going to be out of the race and stuck in the car.
Yeah, even if you do get the car slowed down, you know, you're kind of just going to the gravel. You can't really get the brakes working, and unfortunately, it's just a slow grind until you nose into the wall there. As you see, Brad McCombs actually going fastest in GTD practice.
Yeah, he's switching the car from the Audi to the BMW, so one that's traditionally a little bit more stable than the Audi typically is. So we'll see if he's able to pull out a better result from that. We actually see Nicholas Paletti switching cars as well, so did well in that BMW outside of the pit strategy mistake. Is now a Mercedes, so we'll see if that's the right car choice for him.
Lee Watson here, brave man, as some will say in the Porsche. Kind of a love it or you hate it car. Seems to be a lot of troubles with snap oversteer, but if you can really handle it, you know, it's proven past races to be one of the fastest cars. So very interesting to see Tony, you know, some of this high speed stuff here, see if he can pull it out.
Yeah, and then John Kelly there showing up there. Let's see the practice results that we had. Overall leader for that LMP2 class. I mean, few standings. Jeff McDonald and John Kelly put in that last lap with basically no time remaining. Was able to get just under a 10th to McDonald there in second. Keith Roycroft putting in the third fastest time. Those three really set themselves apart. Anthony Drings there in fourth. Steve Cubay in fifth. Leonardo Elijah sixth. Jeremy Barber seventh. Patrick Ripley eighth. And then Ryan Tyler and Paul Skip without a time.
Take a look at the GTD standings here. Brad McCombs followed by Garrett McAllister. Nicholas Paletti third, then Christopher Craig, Tony Watson, and Aaron Claybaugh putting in a lap, not a fast one. Mark Dillon Jr. and James Kingberry, no time set. Once again, like we were saying, this grid is sorted by iRating, which puts Ryan Tyler on the pole rather than Paul Skip. And Garrett McAllister, the Australian driver, will be leading the GT3 class. So the green flag here, that looks like we're going to go double file again.
Looks like everybody is in the session as well, so nobody unable to make the start. We've got a whole 10 guys there in LMP2 and 8 guys running the GTD.
Always interesting for people not too familiar with Pony Express. Normally we do a single file start, no passing in turn one. This time, practice races, you just get to, you know, old-fashioned 2x2 and let her go into turn one.
They're going to be bringing it down pretty quick. Finish line, or the start line's a little bit later than the finish line. Finish line's back there as they just crossed. Ryan Tyler waiting for the green. Paul Skip right behind him.
Green, green, green.
Green flag. Ryan Tyler's going to lead him down to turn one. Let's see where. Oh, wow, look at that draft that's already brought
yeah,
Steve
Ryan,
Cubay into there.
Ryan Tyler too going for a very, very expensive.
I don't know if there was contact there.
No.
Wow, I can't believe that didn't take out more people. Unfortunately, Ryan Tyler losing basically all the spots. Jeff McDonald having an incident there as well.
Unfortunately, Steve Cubay, looks like Jeff McDonald. Who else got caught up in that? quite a few drivers.
Definitely not Paul Skip. He's already grabbed himself a 3-second lead. He was on the outside of that. I don't know if there was contact made between the two drivers.
I don't think there were. I think it just got in the inside curve a little bit too much. I'll have to go take another look here. Brian Tyler.
You can see there, Tyler down 6, McDonald down 4, Roycroft down 3, Steve Cubay down 7. So all those guys clearly involved in that as everyone else made up a good number of spots. GTD class, Eric Clayball, as you mentioned, didn't put in a fast lap during the practice and has already got himself on the pace. He's made his way up 4 spots from 8th to 4th.
Ryan Tyler did not do that, so unfortunately just took a little too much of the inside curb, unsettled the car. Not the way you want to start.
Yeah, it looks like there may have been an incident for Leonardo Elijah here. He's coming up the hill. Just stepped out on him a little bit. That's going to happen, and it's really not too much of a time loss, all things considered.
Yeah, even in the GTD cars, all the ABS, traction control, you know, everything your heart could desire, it's still really, really easy just to get in the ABS there, and just kind of loop it. And of course, the LMP2 cars don't have any of that luxury, so I'd be willing to bet my bottom dollar that that will not be the first time we see somebody doing that exact same thing, in either class, for that matter.
Patrick Ripley there already making the move for 2nd place. It's not going to be, he's have to back out. Just like you said, tough to make a move through this first section. But, I mean, you can see as they're slowing each other down, Anthony Dring there really starting to catch up to that pair as Paul Skip pulls away more and more. He's got a 4-second gap, and Ripley sends his way through when John Kelly goes a little bit wide.
Really good move there by Patrick Ripley.
Oh, and Dring goes wide as well into the sand. Luckily, not hitting the wall, but going to lose a lot of time rejoining here. May still come out in 4th. See, Leonardo Elijah is going to be right behind him, able to maintain the position.
A little bit of smoke there off in the distance.
Oh, yes, John Kelly.
Probably just a little lockup. Uh-oh. John Kelly again, his issues.
Daniel 2. Could have been a lot
Did
worse.
he just clip that wall in the rejoin? No, he does not. Counting his lucky stars there. Really, really easy just to kind of bounce off that tire wall and just destroy the toe link. And even if you survive the toe link, you know, you got the splitters and all the air on the front side there, so really good damage on the day.
We've had an incident here. I believe this is the Daniels again. The Daniel 2.
Same thing.
Yeah, similar looking incident to the LMP2 that we just saw. John Kelly hurt himself a little bit more.
Keeps it off the wall, lives to see another day. Really, really tricky set of corners. Track limits there, tough, even if you don't take it to the gravel. Really easy to run a little bit wide, pick up X's, which in the sprint race format does not matter, but you know, come along 100-minute races. All those incidents add up towards bonus points and as well as just drive throughs. Tough piece to tame.
Paul Skip's last lap was a 49.83. Patrick Ripley a 48.79, but I don't think that was a. He may have had an off-track an illegal lap.
Yeah, Patrick Ripley up 7 spots. The hard charger. I believe he may have started 2nd class, so I think he started 9th. And still only 2.7 seconds off of Paul Skip. Was very, very impressive.
Yeah, he
But
had technically
still
put in
gotta
a
make
lap,
fast.
but it was 12 seconds off the pace.
Gotcha. A little wiggle there. Get another power. Paul Skip definitely not one to, you know, he's going to put up a fight. Doge squad teammates there. Dick Bloody and Aaron Claybaugh going after it.
Yeah, these guys definitely have been competitive with each other before, both running the same car this time with Mercedes. It seems to be a pretty stable car, and this is a track where stability is really important. It can bite you in a lot of different places. So I'm interested to see how hard Claybaugh fights him here. He's able to stay close enough to tail him, get a little bit extra pace to try to make that move. Not a lot of great passing.
Christopher Craig here, about 2 second lead. You'd be hoping that these guys starting to fight each other, as well as Brad McCombs, who you may just be able to see in that System X car in the background. You know, get a little slipstream. These guys try and fight each other into the final set of corners. Brad will not hesitate at all to pick up scraps.
Yeah, it's a good call mentioning Christopher Craig there, because he's up 4 spots on the overall, and he's, you know, he had started back in the middle of the field and was able to make his way through with some of the early incidents, I think, with the guys behind trying to have to avoid. Obviously, Garrett McAllister had an incident there and dropped down to the back, luckily not too far off to compete with the guys in front of him, but 5th through 8th is had something happen in the race.
Whole top 4 running their last couple laps within a second of each other, so they are all 4 of them locked in there. As he's going to get, Brad McCombs going to get some LMP2 traffic here on the number 19, 16 Bay. Small earlier. Not sure how much damage he has, but not a very good time to catch up with him.
It looks like it should be all right. He's not losing too much time. And actually, play ball in front, about half second.
And looks like Brad McCombs here moving his lips. He just popped right up to the back of everybody. Escobar trying to make it through. Smell the exhaust coming out of the tailpipe now.
See over the last 3 laps, play ball was faster on our first lap. Started a little ahead, and then even on that second lap, sitting the fastest lap of that GTD field in the previous lap, though. So able to have a lot of pace, and you know, with the gap. Oh, and Ubay looks like he had an incident there in Spoon.
Luckily, stayed out of everybody's way. Christopher Craig did just make it around the outside.
And lost so much time doing that.
Yeah, that's really scary though, especially, you know, you just all you see is a puff of white smoke, and you have to guess. They spun to the inside or outside curb, and luckily you picked the right one.
Yeah, that's not the easiest spot to come upon an incident. You're kind of on the limit there in Spoon as it is, but wow, look at that group before it. We're 8 minutes in, and those top few are just separated by a couple seconds.
You could throw a blanket over them here. And it is interesting to note now too, now that we did see a pit stop come into play at Barcelona, I don't think that's going to change here. A lot of high speed stuff, so I wonder if any one of these 4 is going to try and make a you know, some sort of alternate strategy or some sort, just to try and force somebody's hand here, or if they're all going to try and stay in line, serve tires. It'd be very interesting to see if someone tries to pull a wild card out.
Ryan Tyler there trying to charge his way back through the field. Started on the front. We did not see any time from him in practice, so we didn't know what kind of pace he was able to have, but clearly quite quick in the start of this race and is only 4/10 behind Patrick Ripley. Not the best game, right?
Yeah, Patrick Ripley must have made a mistake then. I believe last time we checked in with him, he was only a few seconds off Paul Skip.
Yeah, you can see there, sector 3, 12.7 seconds down.
Very interesting. I wonder.
This right here. What happens? Daniers again, Danier 2. A little bit wide, yeah. Just has to kind of bail.
Oh, yeah, and he's into the agriculture there. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. Once you get in that grass, nothing great.
This was a little bit ago as well. Here. It's another little spin there.
Hey. Well, what I tell you earlier, I said I'd bet everything in my pocket that won't be the first one. There we are.
Ryan Tyler still staying close to Patrick Ripley ahead, but Ripley's actually caught up to Trevor Kelly, so Tyler maybe not as incentivized to really make a move quickly, because these two can work together to try to carve their way through the field and catch up to Anthony Dring there in second.
Absolutely. Patrick Ripley going to see if he can do it twice. He's really good middle sector there. Seemed to catch it right up in the braking zone. And Patrick Ripley only half a second now off John Kelly.
Kelly just a little bit slower in each of the sectors, but especially sector 2, like I said right there, he was a half second slower.
There it is, Patrick Ripley now. Doesn't quite have all this live data right at his hands, but he's gonna get a nice run here, 130 yards.
The hairpin looks like Patrick Ripley is not going to be. Oh, a little lockup from John Kelly ahead. Not quite enough to give Patrick the chance to make a move, but come through turn 1, he's
go around
close.
the outside. And ensure the pass start to the inside here. And try and lock him. Not a big defense by John Kelly.
Not stout enough. Looks like the draft was not able to help him up, help Patrick enough to make a move. Sent some pretty brave passes there in turn 1. Only 11 minutes into this race, but John Kelly's going to maintain that position there.
And I wonder if that's a little bit of that front nose damage there.
Nicholas Paletti going a little bit wide. Let's see if it gets any worse than this.
And it does just missed everybody. Oh, right by the margin post there. Get it spun around.
Yeah, nice spin.
It's harder to do than it looks. A lot of people over there be making like an 8-point turn. Lose 30 seconds, clog up the track. So good job, actually.
Well, if you're wondering why John Kelly was alone there, went wide in the exact same spot that we just saw Nicholas Paletti, and that's how he lost those 2 positions. Luckily able to get back on track, though lose too much time, but that's where he lost those 2. And now Brian Tyler and Patrick Ripley unleashed to see if they can catch up to Anthony Dring ahead. Patrick Ripley himself has got just under 5 seconds.
Patrick Ripley 0.8 of a second faster than Anthony Dring on that last lap.
You can see there that sector 3 is especially where Ripley caught up a lot of time with nearly a second faster. Sector 5 exactly equal.
They're just about that even as they can get. But a huge sector 3 from Patrick Ripley. I don't think there was any incidents or anything. I think just a lot of speed.
By looking at
They get down to about 5 seconds, give or take now.
fastest laps by both of our classes, maybe unsurprisingly, coming from the leaders. Paul Skip, first for the LMP2 with 148.6, and Christopher Craig very close to being able to break that 2-minute mark with a 2-minute .262.
And I was wondering before the race in practice if anyone could break that sub 2-minute barrier. It's gonna be pretty tough. I think Brad McComb, some of these guys are gonna need a lot of structure and help, but
Yeah, I'd imagine that the time for that has passed in the tires. Anthony Dring really clobbering that curb, but still able to make it through there quickly. It's a pretty dangerous couple turns there, but he actually has kind of closed that gap to Skip.
And you can actually see on the track too, that overhead view, just how much gravel tracked off after the Degna's there.
Yeah, he's not
track
the only
almost,
person.
almost light brown from pretty much everybody. It seems like coming through there. With too much sauce catching from the gravel trap.
Pull back to Mark Dillon Jr. here. He's got just 2 seconds to Gareth McAllister in front. Both these guys having some early incidents, but Mark Dillon Jr. has some damage. Mark doesn't look like it's race ending for sure. It's just a little bit of crumpling. I don't know if Gareth McAllister has lasting damage on his Ford, as we see Tony Watson go wide, and McAllister's going to be able to make the move here potentially. Nope, Watson's going to stay ahead, but keep an eye on these hot tires for Tony Watson. May not be able to break as well in turn 1.
I believe that Leonardo Elijah there in the background. Yep, just sneaking through. Wasn't sure if he had some other person. Tony Watson going to stay ahead here, Gareth McAllister.
That was Anthony Dring there, actually, second place runner, trying his best to catch up to Paul Skip ahead.
A lot of new drivers getting used to the liveries, of course. Tony Watson, though, one person who livery tried and true is Gareth McAllister right on his bumper there. I thought he was going to run straight through him off the track.
And it looks like they all have maybe just a little bit of damage as we see Patrick Ripley catching up at the actual wrong time during this race. He just doesn't even know where to get by.
He And Garrett McAllister looking to make a move on Tony, which puts them 2 wide.
Ryan Tyler back out. I thought for a second Ryan Tyler was going to make a move there.
Tony Watson off in the first deck note. He's going to go into the wall. Fortunately, nothing he could do there. And we'll get an instant replay.
We just missed this. It was right in front of Gareth McAllister. Yeah, man, he really hit that curve.
Yeah, and I was wondering maybe driving the mirrors missed the apex. He hit the apex well, just too much apex speed. And yeah, once the car got unsettled there, that is going to help make help Patrick Ripley, excuse me, make this pass to the spoon. Gareth McAllister letting him by on the inside there, and that is going to unleash him and Patrick Ripley into taken out. Not should say taken out, just contact with Ryan Tyler. I think Patrick kind of had to change up his line there, going on the inside. Just jumbled up the braking points, and very unfortunate.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
pretty deep there. Unfortunately, yeah, it's not too easy to go side by side and spoon, is it?
Yep, but I wonder if Gareth McAllister there, unfortunately assisted that one. You know, it's really easy to get used to your braking points and run your line. As soon as you get a little bit of traffic, you know, you gotta change it up, or maybe you can't see your braking marker through the door on the car.
Yeah, that may have been what happened with Tony Watson.
Yep.
So
A
that,
lot trickier than you think. You're not used to seeing the same things every single lap.
Ryan Tyler and Patrick Ripley, though, despite the fact that they were involved in that, pretty much got out of it losing the same amount of time. So dropped back to 5th and 6th, dropping behind John Kelly and Keith Roycroft, but the battle is still back on, and obviously some minor damage to Ryan Tyler's car there, but it shouldn't affect him too much.
Yep, and they're going to be right on the tail of Keith Roycroft here. He's going to look to make a move. He's got the traffic of Gareth McAllister in front there. Ryan Tyler, they're going, this is
Ryan
right
Tyler's
around
going to go around
here.
the outside. He makes his way past Patrick Ripley, so Keith Roycroft making it right through that traffic at the perfect time as Ryan Tyler takes advantage and gets ahead of Patrick coming into the hairpin right now.
Yep, Patrick Ripley there just backing out, letting Ryan Tyler have that one. He's going to make a big move around the outside. Patrick Ripley, I think he got spooked a little bit by Ryan Tyler there, and he just locked it up. The wheel cranked.
Yeah, I agree. It looks like Tyler had hit that curve a little bit, almost shot him out towards Patrick Ripley.
These guys just driving the car so hard right now. You know, I think they're kind of running to the point where you make a few mistakes, you got to drive a little bit harder to catch back up, which unfortunately caused a few more mistakes. But John Kelly and Keith Roycroft only 13 seconds, 7 seconds ahead respectively with 11 minutes.
There.
And they're just going to be just pushing each other down the back straight here. I don't know. I was going to say we might still see a battle, but we might just be between these two guys now at this point. They are really beating and banging.
Yeah, Ryan
The
Tyler
old school
go a
stock
little
car race.
defensive. Yeah, it looks like I think Ryan Tyler led off. He felt a little bit responsible for Patrick Ripley's spin, so allowed Patrick to regain that gap that they had. That's why they're next to each other now and definitely racing each other close. I'm surprised Ripley wasn't able to get close enough to make a move there into that turn or the bus stop.
Yeah, I think Patrick is suffering from a little bit of damage from his auxiliary incident in the Degnos there. Also, Brad McCombs now. You know, we haven't really talked about the GTD battle in a little bit of time here, but he's up within the second half now of Christopher Craig.
Yeah, we can see there last lap was nearly half a second faster, so just a couple laps that rain that puts him in the battle with Christopher Craig. Craig's still running really consistently, but only pretty much matching each other, lap for lap. As we'll see if McCombs can continue to eat into that lead, or if Craig's going to be able to hit back.
And let's not forget the pit stops came in for last time. Some of the taking a little bit of fuel. Could see Christopher Craig or Brad McCombs in the battle, so he's going to nail the pit stop. Got to get a good pit entry, pit exit, do it all safely.
A little bit of miscommunication there between McCombs. I believe that's Anthony Dring behind. Yes, that's Anthony Dring. Didn't really know where to go going into that. Luckily, no collision. But we do have, looks like something happened to Nicholas Paletti. Clean right now, at least. That was a weird snap.
Did he get collected? Oh, Oh no, that looks like it's gonna be the 13 Jeff McDonald there. Getting on the action, and Plutty almost beached it there. It looked like it looked like tire spin, and no, that didn't help him.
Keith Roycroft
Sorry,
actually making the pass here on John Kelly as John Kelly, see there, spins out. Keith Roycroft coming around. This is in the bus stop. Oh, that came really close. Roycroft passing off the track.
Wouldn't call that the recommended rejoin, but it worked well enough.
Yeah, it continues to give Anthony Dring even more of a lead on that pair that's behind him. It's 20 seconds now back to those two. So Paul Skip, name we haven't mentioned too much in this race, up a spot from where he had started and has that 15-second gap. So we saw him win by 17 seconds at the Barcelona just a little bit ago. We potentially may see him win by even more in this race. We're only 2/3 the way through.
And Paul Skip just, you know, just getting out in front, avoiding that early contact there that I believe this Ryan Tyler had. Just really slowed the traffic behind him on lap 1, turn 1. And, you know, really good advantage to have that lap 1 free air. You have the wreck behind you, everyone's battling wheel to wheel. And it set him up very, very well. But still very impressive driving.
And we can see there in the best sectors of the lap that in general, Dring's just been slightly slower in all the sectors, except for sector 4 where he actually has the advantage over Paul Skip. But Paul Skip maintaining that fastest lap of the race at a 1:48.6, although they are not running anything near that time right now, as his last time was a 49. So tires giving him maybe a little bit of an issue. I know that this track can be pretty tough on the tires, can it?
Absolutely, and as an LMP2 driver last year, you kind of get like a weird peak where it starts off fast, and then you have kind of heavy tank but hot tires, where it slows down, and then you kind of speed back up again when it's really good.
If you wonder why Anthony Dring's gap there just increased to Paul Skip ahead. Oh, that was a big snap.
Kind of the same thing we just saw not too long ago there, just kind of a snap over the mid-corner.
And off track for over 8 seconds there, so that's where we lost that time. Still able to stay keeper position. It's got 11 seconds back to Keith Roycroft. Ryan Tyler and Patrick Ripley continue to. Wow! Oh man, Ryan Tyler hits the wall there. Hopefully not too much damage to that rear suspension. Ripley went pretty wide. Tyler even wider, hitting that wall.
Both of them chasing each other down. Looks like Ryan Tyler, yeah, he definitely kissed it, but kept going. I think he might have just missed that tire. A little bit of purple paint in the wall there. He's going to make a move up the inside here. Patrick Ripley, you know what happened last time, the same as that corner. Cleaner the second time through.
Yeah, a little more aware of each other's car placement.
Patrick Ripley, though, a little more momentum around the outside. And we're going to see if we have a game of chicken here. A lot more downforce than GTP cars, but I wonder if anyone's going to back out. They're going to try and send it. And they both are.
Oh, Tyler swinging a little bit wide there. That was close. He's a little bit ahead, a nose ahead going into the bus stop.
Everyone's going to be late in the brakes. Patrick Ripley a little bit later in the brakes. Ryan Tyler better run through. Switch back.
Patrick Ripley goes on the
outside.
outside. Oh, they got some traffic.
Ripley, unfortunately, he was already getting loose. I think he would have lost out in traction anyways, but Keith Roycroft, wrong place, wrong time.
So Christopher Craig electing to go into the pits now. Brad McCombs had just dropped that gap to 4 or 5 tenths, and Craig deciding he doesn't want to give any draft or any secrets to Brad McCombs, and it looks like, at least from the leaders, that they're going to have to make that pit stop, because surely he would have tried to stretch that out if possible.
Yeah, we did see Keith Roycroft there dropping that on the exit of the final corner there, and that is what got in the way of, I believe, yeah, Patrick Ripley, that was. No pit stops yet, though. Looks like everyone is destined to come in here for the next few laps. Christopher Craig, I believe. Gareth McAllister and Nick Plutty actually all just didn't make their pit stops, a couple seconds each. So they have topped off. 25-second lead for Brad McCombs. He has yet to pit. So we will see where he funnels out after the pit stop here.
Yeah, we can see Steve Cubey there, right on the back of Jeremy Barber. Now, Jeremy Barber, who I forgot to mention in the previous race, is running with 1 foot. He did not lose his foot, but had a foot injury, as he lets Steve Cubey go by there. Has a foot injury on his left foot and is driving it just like a normal road car. And I cannot imagine how difficult that is in a car like a prototype with the LMP2.
Yeah, it's definitely something. So I commend him.
I imagine he's leaving a lot of pace on the table and not being able to switch back between the gas and the brake as quickly as he would like, but he's still racing quite commendably. He's there in 9th place of Jeff Donato may have retired the car. But the GTD, interestingly, really just 4 guys, and as Brad McCombs now comes in to make his pick.
Yeah, Jeff Dom looked like he was back on track after 2.5 minutes in the pits, so it looks like they were beating him banging on the sheet metal there. Patrick Ripley just dropped the car. It looks like turn 1.
I'm trying to see. Christopher Craig's now going to be coming through here. Brad McCombs is on the pit exit. They were only a half a second apart when they came in, when Christopher Craig came on the last lap. Let's see where that gap is now. Brad McCombs is not going to have
the
it.
overcut, and it did not work. But he didn't lose out. So kept about the same gap. If anything, actually gained about a half second or so. Actually, really good run through the first couple corners there. He's going to be all over him.
Lapping traffic there of Leonardo Elijah trying to make his way through, but this is not the spot that Brad McCombs can make his way past, that's for sure. But he does look pretty confident in the car despite just coming out of the pits.
Yeah, that's always hard to get back up to speed. Probably helps you in that because everything's up to temperature. But you know, you always lose that rhythm that you have. Because Leonardo Elijah clean pass on Brad McCombs, so Brad McCombs got to be happy with that.
They make a collision there.
Yeah, looks like he's going to probably hopefully stick it around the outside.
Wow, yeah, that was surprisingly Brad McCombs was able to be pretty much just as fast as Leonardo Elijah there, coming out of the second denier. And pace difference on that car was between those 2 cars wasn't highlighted in that corner. And look at that gap that Brad McCombs has now lost to Christopher Craig. He worked so hard to make that up, and now with and he gets spun.
Oh no!
Oh, Christopher Craig. Brad McCombs going to inherit the lead for the GTD class. Christopher Craig may not even be able to keep ahead of Gareth McAllister here, and he's not going to. Gareth McAllister is going to head up to 2nd place.
You know, it's unfortunate to say that is exactly what Brad McCombs needed and wanted there. Brad initially got through the traffic really cleanly there, and as you're saying, Leonardo's could not get around the outside of him and lost a bunch of time. So Brad McCombs really lucky there to escape, but still only 6 seconds. Just got to make the last couple of clean laps though. Anything can happen.
See there, obviously, where that 7.6 seconds that he gained on Christopher Craig in that Sector 5 was, Craig was generally faster other than that because he was able to deal with the traffic a little bit better. But yeah, that was probably, I assume that was the white flag flying right there?
They may have 1 lap to go, I believe so. Also, interesting enough, Gareth McAllister back to the pits for a second stop.
Ring, right near the end of the race,
one of those.
Come into the pits.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, Gareth McAllister, not sure what the whole 2-stop strategy is for. Don't believe there are any stop-and-go penalties. Unless he had a speeding or something like that we don't know about.
Yeah, he's him and Clayball on 2 stops. Clayball's in the pits, obviously.
Patrick Ripley back up to 3rd, and Brian Tyler has not left his shadow. And Patrick actually under a second now from John Kelly, and it looks like they're going on to, I believe this is a white flag lap.
Yeah, it's hard to even tell because Paul Skip is 52 seconds ahead of these guys. But yeah, Ripley able to make the move here in this first 2 corners. Corner 2, he's already making his way through. John Kelly's going to be on the inside of this next turn. Patrick Ripley's going to pull ahead. Kelly kind of backs out of that.
like you're saying, might actually have another lap because of Paul Skip being so far ahead. Ryan Tyler, though, still, he also made it cleanly through there.
I believe that was the white flag. It's just that, well, yeah, that would have been the white flag. As Skip now coming through the final couple sectors here. Looks like Ryan Tyler just made the pass.
Oh, Ryan Tyler off.
Take a
Big
look at that
crash.
right after
Ryan
Paul
Tyler,
Skip comes across the line here. Paul Skip, yet again our winner, this time by a minute. I don't know if he'll be able to match that in our third race, but that's 2 races, 2 wins for Paul Skip.
And Jeff McDonald, or John Kelly rather, excuse me, the big winner. Jeff McDonald's also getting around the outside.
Wow, that was
See
really
Patrick
close.
Ripley there. Patrick Ripley had to slow up. That is McDonald and Kelly, both around the outside.
And then Patrick
And-
Ripley here and making his way past John Kelly for P2.
It's going to be a wild finish.
A little bit of damage to that front left, but still able to keep that spot.
Oh, a little bit loose there from Jeff McDonald, and that's going to give Patrick Ripley a really good run. We know Patrick Ripley has a little bit of extra damage, though. Not really gaining the time he'd like to see.
Well, yeah, actually, McDonald there's on a different lap, I think, from Patrick Ripley. Patrick Ripley's coming across the second, likely able to keep that gap just under a minute, but 58 seconds to Paul Skip ahead.
Absolutely, and valiant effort there by Patrick Ripley after not one of his cleanest races, but still able to pump into extremely fast laps. Running some low 49s there, but Paul Skip's got to be happy. That's 2 for 2. Let's see if he can get the trifecta. As Brad McCombs, after that pit stop, we said it was going to be a factor, and unfortunately Christopher Craig on the wrong side of traffic there, but very well put together race by Brad McCombs.
Yeah, especially these 2 guys, the only ones who didn't get an extra time. So all the other GT3s have finished. Brad McCombs coming through final couple corners here into the bus stop with Christopher Craig 6 seconds back. But these 2 guys, other than the incident that we saw there at Spoon, were certainly the most mistake-free and had some of the best pace in the track. Brad McCombs coming around the final corner, crossing the finish line, first place for our GTD class. That's 2 races and 2 winners. Let's see if anyone's able to double that up in our third race at Darlington.
Absolutely. Also, Anthony Dring there, first time out on the track, and actually had a pretty good race going for a while. Had a few mistakes, didn't end up where he wanted to, but pretty impressive for someone who probably ran about, what did we run, 19, 20 laps maybe?
Yeah.
That's all the laps he's got is what you saw right there, so shout out to Anthony.
Our
It's
race
super
results for
easy.
this race, Paul Skip coming across as the winner. There must have been a penalty for Patrick Ripley. He must have had a penalty for something. At least in these race results I'm seeing here is 4th place. John Kelly, 2nd place, a minute and 3 seconds back, followed by Keith Roycroft, Patrick Ripley, Steve Cubay, Leonardo Elijah, Ryan Tyler, Jeremy Barber, Anthony Dring, and Jeff McDonald. Are you seeing that on your results as well?
I did see that he dropped. I wonder if it's a possibility maybe he cut the corner in the final
Didn't
sector.
serve it.
Yeah, just see if I can look back at the footage here and see if I can find anything.
Well,
That is
I'll announce
really
our
weird.
GTD results that we got. Race winner, Brad McCombs here at Suzuka, followed by Christopher Craig. Only 2 guys finish on the lead lap. 3rd place, Gareth McAllister in that Ford, despite the 2 pit stops, still finishing 3rd. Nicholas Paletti in 4th, Tony Watson in 5th, Mark Dillon Jr. in 6th, Aaron Claybon 7th, and James Kingsbury in 8th.
See if Brad can make it back to back going to Donington. This is going to be a very unique track to a lot of drivers, I think. So this is going to be very interesting to see who picks up the pace right away, who doesn't.
And with that finish, we're going to be going to Donington in just a few minutes. We will see you guys a few minutes and have a couple guys talk to from this race and see how that race went for them and what they're looking forward to next race. So we'll be right back. All right, and we're back with our final race of 3 here for Endurance for Amateurs and preseason events. Final race will be here at Donington Park Racing Circuit, and yet again joined here by Zach Nurnberger, looking to do this final race. What are you looking forward to with this track? It's a little bit more of a niche one.
Yeah, Donington's definitely one of my favorite tracks. A lot of elevation changes, blind corners. It really, really tests your guts and courage to really throw it into some of these corners here. Really interesting with the LMP2s in the downforce. It's trying to warm up, sliding around a lot. Interesting to see who has experience and who doesn't, because that will play a big part on, say, a less popular track, but definitely be very interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah, it's a strong racing track. The final sector is especially really tough. It requires a lot of steering lock. You can see there that goofy long hairpin on that track map you got there. But this will be one that tests the drivers, like I said, a lot more of a niche one. So even guys who have done this, it's not like anybody is an expert here. Speaking potentially of experts, at least in this session, we do have our reigning champion for the LMP2 class, Nick Terrell. So he's in the LMP2, looking to prove that him winning the championship was no fluke. Obviously, he's going to be the guy with the target on his back coming into the next season, at least provided that he's able to compete in most of the races. And I'm interested to see how he does here at this track.
Yeah, very interesting. Nick coming in ice cold, unlike everyone else, had a couple races to warm up. But like you said, reigning champion, so let's see if he can get off firing on all cylinders. We also have league founder Mark Dillon Jr. with us here, and do you want to see if we get him in the booth?
Yeah, he's probably not too happy about that spin, but he's was the fastest guy on the top of that timing board, so let's see what he thinks.
Hey Mark, do you have us here in the booth?
Yeah, what's going on?
What's your thoughts on Donington? Is this one you're familiar with, or are you just kind of coming in here to see how it goes?
No, out of the 3 tracks tonight, this is the only one that I do have some familiarity with, mainly an open wheel car, so.
That on the bingo card. I thought this would have been, if anything, the one people are going to struggle with. The first 2 races, we saw didn't get off to a great start. Barcelona, a little bit better last race. You say this is one you have a lot more experience on. What do you think the keys to success are going to be for this one?
Oh man, finding pit road entry on a green flag. So the GT3s have been having to pit. Obviously, you've seen that. They've been having to stop for a splash of fuel, so it'll be interesting trying to get on that pit road there. Other than that, those last 2 hairpins, the last 2 corners, they're tough in any car. Open wheel, it doesn't matter. It's bad.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was telling ZP as well. A lot of blind corners. If you're not familiar with the track, you really got to trust your car is going to stick when you throw it in there. And of course, if you're saying pit lane, we saw in Barcelona, it cost the GTD lead with a bad pit stop. And I know we've had multiple open wheel races here where it's easy to get on eventually. So we wish you the best of luck. Get the race starts and let you get some last couple practice laps, and good luck.
All right, thanks, guys.
Be a good test. I'm surprised that this is the one of the 3 that he's the most experienced with. I mean, to be fair, very least with Barcelona, it doesn't have its own dedicated endurance event, at least as far as iRacing officials. But you did have the 10 hours of Suzuka. No longer. That has been replaced by Fuji, if I'm correct.
Yes, I did believe. It's kind of sad. I do miss the Suzuka endurance races, but Fuji's a very good racing place to go.
Yeah, I've made no secret of my love for Fuji as a racetrack. I was very excited when we got added to the service, and we've had some good races, both in the league and have done some fun officials there as well. So I am disappointed to see Suzuka go. I think we just saw a pretty good race there, and it's an iconic circuit, but I'm still looking forward to the Fuji special event. Certainly one I'll be competing in, at least barring any sort of extenuating circumstances.
Yeah, and I believe Suzuka actually is one of our historically better races as a team as well. So, but I know there's a lot of guys excited for Fuji, and it's always good to have something fresh. You know, always like a good new challenge. So,
Nicholas Paletti there putting on the top time for the GTD. They only got a couple more minutes to do so. Be the shortest. They make a mistake right when I get the camera.
Steve Couvet as well, fastest for GT17s as well. A lot of different drivers in the prototypes that are topping the charts. Something a little bit different each race.
Yeah, no surprise from the color, by the way, there on the screen. We are in sunrise here. It's 7:40 a.m. in the sim, so that's what they're seeing. Nice and manageable track temps. You can see that hailiness you're talking about. Not that these corners were blind, but I mean, usually you get a lot flatter.
We get an onboard too, see if you can see that sun. I wonder, maybe you can see what the drivers are seeing.
Gotta find when they kind of come across.
You can see there goes Steve Couvet.
Oh man! Yeah, look at that.
And you can see just how blind it is. Normally, there's a little bit of elevation. You kind of dip down with the left-hander, so you can't see it on a normal day. Of course, that sun right in front of the corner. That's pretty much everyone's worst nightmare. That's what those drivers are going to deal with.
Ooh, that's also a nightmare. Escape that lovely.
You're welcome. See where it's back.
This is one of the toughest turns on the track there. You can see really taking the lines and the expansion, but just a little bit too much. They lose control of that car. This is a wild turn, another blind apex.
A lot of sun there. Yeah, you can see there in the old hairpin, at the bottom of the hill there, all that dirt kicked off on the left-hand side. That's just what happens when you're just throwing the car in there. Get the compression, grip up, and fling it to the mud. It looks like we are going to take the grid once again, sorted the same way as per usual, which leaves, I believe, Nick Terrell on the pole.
Yeah, I believe he'd be the guy starting from front. Yeah, it looks like he is.
Yeah, 3 different pole sitters today.
Yeah.
As well as Gareth McAllister.
The results from the practice times, however, Steve Couvet did have the fastest lap, just very closely followed by Christopher Craig, John Kelly, Jeremy Barber, and Nick Terrell, who did not set it.
GTD rather, Nick Paletti, Brad McCombs, Jeff McDonald, Mark Dillon Jr., Gareth McAllister, Patrick Ripley, and Tony Watson, Aaron Claybaugh, both at the back with no time set.
All right, we got one more race to go. So it'll be a tough one. It'll be exciting. I think we'll probably see a couple incidents. Smaller field, but that doesn't preclude us from having some good racing here.
Yeah, it looks like Mark Dillon Jr. Was going to EOL as well, so he may actually be dropping to the back of this one. We'll have to see once the grid gets going, but there may be a little bit of shuffle before the green flag starts.
Yeah, Nick Terrell starting from the pits as well. I was confused why there was a empty gap there. I think that should mean that Kelly's able to move his way up to second place.
Yep, and I can confirm Mark Dillon Jr. dropped to the back of the field there. Maybe give himself a little bit of challenge. He did say this is the one he knew the best, so. Or maybe just trying to stay out of the carnage, you know, it's a lot easier to avoid when you don't worry about people breaking behind you, but. Terrell.
Through the last corners here. Definitely a couple tight turning radiuses for these corners. So it's going to be all the steering lock that you can get. That pace truck. Not sure why it's the truck and not the car. The pace truck's going to pull in now. Steve Couvet.
Green.
And they are getting green right now. Steve Couvet's going to lead the field. Coming into turn one. Looks like John Kelly's just a little bit ahead of Christopher Craig. Yes, he's going to seal that position. They're going to come through. They're going to get single file. And looks like Couvet's going to have a pretty strong gap just a few corners into this race.
Looks like everyone got a clean start. I don't know what Jeremy Barber may have off track there. I'm not sure.
Yep.
Looks like Nick Terrell already out of the pits up in the P3. Smaller field, of course, but working right to his plan there. Yes, you can't get caught in the mess if you're in the pits. So.
Terrell and his mystery machine is already there in that, mired in that GTD field, so trying to make his way through that. It's Mark Dillon Jr. and I'm not used to seeing for Formula, but front two for LMP2, Christopher Craig and Steve Cubay totally set themselves apart. I mean, Craig goes already a 12-second gap to John Kelly behind.
Yeah, it looks like, you know, I didn't really pick up on it till just now, but no Paul Skip probably does not know the track, so unfortunately his trifecta, the Triple Crown is over. But yeah, Steve Cubay off to a good start. Already has 1 second gap to Christopher Craig and 12 seconds to Nick Terrell, who started in the pits there. As I believe that's Christopher Craig, they're getting extremely sideways and not should be caught that ZP. I have no idea how he hung on to that thing.
Oh, I did not. Just right there behind our leader. Although, speaking of sideways, looks like we may have an incident here from Tony Watson. Letting Nick Terrell by through there. Still looks all right.
You just catch a little bit extra grass there on the left-hand side.
Terrell did went off as well.
And that's what we're saying. You have that sun with the blind apex. Not too familiar. Unfortunately, Tony Watson probably trying to work with Nick Terrell there too to help.
Christopher Craig there on the LMP2. Another driver who's probably weighing his options, deciding if he's going to run the LMP2 or the GTD next season. He's been a mainstay in the GT3s for the last few seasons, and one of the most consistent finishers, I think, probably in the field, and has historically placed pretty high in the standings as a result. We have an incident there by Mark Dillon Jr., however. BMW a little bit wide. And he's able to
Nice back.
Oh,
Oh, and yep, spoke too soon. No damage though, and Mark will get that thing fired back up.
yeah, not at all surprising to see someone go wide in that section there because
Well, it's really inviting as well. You know, you have the compression, you really grip up. It looks a lot more open, and it's just really easy to send it in there.
well, I think my timing boards are freaking out a little bit here, but we do have our GT3 not much of a gap behind, however, being heavily pressured from right there, which is Patrick Ripley, no longer in the LMP2, but in that Mercedes GT3, and he is challenging Aaron Clayball right now in that BMW.
Yeah, it seems, I mean, you obviously have been in the booth for a lot longer than I have, but Mercedes for Patrick seems like a interesting choice. I'm not too familiar with him very often.
Yeah, he's almost always been a guy who's in the Audi. I'm not really sure, yeah, if I've seen him drive a GT3 other than the Audi, really. But giving this one a shot here, nice little paint that he's got on there. He looks mighty fast, for sure. He's all over the back Aaron Clayball.
Clayball gonna back straight here. Not have to worry about too defensive of a maneuver.
You can see there that McAllister still holds the lead. Brad McCombs certainly close enough to give him a little bit of thought, try to fill up his mirrors a little bit, but that Ferd GT still looking pretty strong and didn't have quite the race he wanted, I don't think, at Suzuka, but finished on the podium and won the first race. So, I mean, typically the 4 GTs, we're being totally fair, it's a little bit of a joke, but he's actually making it quite fast.
I'm not sure. May have had an incident there with Nick Terrell. So he lost a spot to Jeremy Barber there.
They have to do with this Aaron Clay. Aaron Clayball also got passed by Jeremy Barber. Bit of classes. Let's see if they may be related. Oh, well, he's just Dick Terrell's just there.
Yeah, but it looks like the same thing as Tony Watson there. So Cody's probably nice to know he's not going crazy in that final corner. Because, it's a bit of a collector's item, isn't it?
Well, he unfortunately had it happen again.
Oh boy!
Just this last lap, and no damage. That's not one where it's too damaging. It's not dangerous, but Yeah, it's a
Just
tough
not,
breaking
not a
zone
lot
to
of
hit.
fun, is it? Yeah. Like I said, it's a collector's trophy there. Almost everyone's bound to do it once. You can put up a wall there and everything. I don't think it make much of a difference.
And it's a tough geometry. One that you just did a hairpin. You got another hairpin coming. Maybe not a whole lot of fun to crank the wheel both directions like that, but Christopher Craig's still looking pretty quick out there. Actually, John Kelly has I believe the fastest lap of the race. But these two have set themselves apart, really not having any mistakes so far.
John Kelly, the first one into, excuse me, the second one to 19. Steve Kubay, fastest lap 19.8. John Kelly in 19.45. Steve Kubay and Christopher Craig though a lot faster than the previous laps. As you see Kubay here right up on the back. Christopher Craig, I believe that is.
Yeah, Steve Kubay and Christopher Craig leading that. Oh, and Christopher Craig has a little bit of a spin.
Commentator's curse there, unfortunately. No damage though, but we'll almost looped it there, getting it back on again.
That's going to give Kubay quite a healthy lead out in front now. 10 seconds and growing as Craig still tries to get up to speed. Been able to catch that up a little bit, but he's still safe from John Kelly behind. John Kelly 8 seconds back. That a little bit smaller LMP2 field.
Fortunately, we were talking about Patrick Ripley earlier, and he's put it on the hauler. Not exactly sure what happened to him, but he has parked the car up in the garage.
Here's what happened.
So, there we go. Right on cue. A little too much grass in the braking zone.
Just nope.
Like it?
Just deciding to quit.
Huh. Yep.
May have had an
some
incident
sort
here
of-
with Christopher. Oh, that was the one we saw. Jeremy Barber. I'm sorry. We have coming down this straight, and a couple mistakes come into this braking zone. The just really, yeah. I
Oh.
mean, he's on one foot. We'll give him a break. No pun
Yeah,
intended.
just yeah, really easy just to stab on the brakes too hard there, especially, you know, like you're saying, you only got 1 foot, so very excusable mistake.
Well, he's
Steve
using
Kubay there,
the
ramping the curves.
he's using the foot that he's not used to braking with as well. So
Yeah,
even worse.
got it all backwards, but commendable effort. Doing a lot better than I would do, that's for sure. It looks like there's some off in the background there behind Bradley Combs. I'm not sure who that was.
Yeah, Bradley Combs here. This is how he made his way around Garrett McAllister. McAllister going just a little bit wide, and Combs saying they could take this one.
Oh, there you go. There's the answer. That was Garrett McAllister. That's probably one of Garrett's first mistakes he's made. All 3 races, at least.
Yeah, something of his own doing. I think he probably got
Yeah.
collected at the start of that second race.
Yeah. Wasn't obviously won the first race. Podium in the second still, but yeah, that was Garrett first one really put a foot wrong on his own there. But Ray McCombs still not an easy task to take ahead. Garrett's definitely gonna be chasing him down. Jeff McDonald and Mark Dillon Jr. too on the lead lap, and like Mark was saying, a lot better race than this time around. You know, it shows just what being comfortable with the track can do.
You can see there, McCombs fastest lap of the GT field with 128.2. He did that on lap 3, and see that mistake by McAllister. Fortunately, hurt him by about 3 seconds or so, and another 2 seconds there on lap 6. So that's where that gap has come from. So Brad McCombs quite healthy. I mean, 4 seconds back, you can kind of drive a little bit easier. You don't have someone over you're not getting any draft, and you're not filling up your mirrors trying to spook you.
Yeah, that is a big advantage to this track. Usually, I believe it's McLean's its final corner. You had that backstretch, but it's not enough to get any overspeed. I guess we'll say that way. You can kind of neutralize them a little bit, but really before you can blow past them, you get that chicane. So
Yeah, and even going into turn 1, it's not a very long run that you have across that finish line to make the move. So yeah, there's a couple braking zones where you can try to be pretty brave and send a pass, but not going to be easy. Looks like Nick Terrell's probably happy that this one isn't on the official calendar. Actually, probably has not practiced this track at all and hopped in here. So still
yeah,
kudos
Nick
to
Terrell,
him
of
for
course,
doing it.
he's famous for even on team events, you know, getting in the seat of the car 10 seconds before the green flag drops. So, like you're saying, I'm sure this is probably his first few laps as he catches the grass and does he hang on there? It's really easy to get snap oversteer when you rejoin the track, so very good job there. As he's chasing down, I believe that's Jeremy Barber.
Yep, Jeremy Barber ahead. He's running in 4th right now. And yeah, Nick Terrell obviously starting on pole, sort of, because of his iRating. Decided to start from the pits and just trying to feel out this track. But certainly, the up front, Steve Cubey's looking pretty strong. He's got that 10-second gap. Has not really lost any to Christopher Craig. You can see there the mistake was on lap 5. There on lap 8, actually, Christopher Craig was 0.6 faster. Kind of going to need to pick Kate up. Less than 20 minutes to go. 10-second gap is pretty formidable.
Yeah, Stevie Cubey there doing his Paul Skip impression. This is exactly what he would have wanted to do at Barcelona. Fortunately, Paul Skip was too fast, but you know, he's had the advantage of getting out in front this time and doing a really good job controlling the race. 10-second gap and pretty consistently pulling ahead there. Christopher Craig, barring Christopher Craig's obviously lap 5 that big mistake, but still 7-8 tenths of lap, just kind of chugging away.
Yeah, even without the mistake, still looking pretty strong, Christopher Craig there as far as pace. I would really be interested to see this race for sure. Even if he came in with no practice, he's obviously a guy that we have as a protagonist, a contender for the LMP2 title next season. I think it's pretty much decided that that's the class he's going to be running in. Was a guy, especially in the second half of the season, found a lot of pace and was putting in really good performances. Like I said, unfortunately missed that final race, but Nick Terrell right there in the back of the...
So he finds the old hairpin there, looking to make a move in Jeremy Barber. Jeremy Barber up the inside of one Mr. Gareth McAllister there, and looks like Gareth's going to slot in right between them.
Yeah, but yeah, speaking
of that mystery machine.
Speaking of guys who were strong at the end of the season, Nick Terrell, class of the field at the end. Interested to see if he's able to compete for a full season, and if he's able to have that same kind of success. It's going to be a little bit of a longer season than the last one was. Last one was shortened to try to match up with the official schedule, which, Gareth McAllister lose control there. No damage. He's going to spin it again. That was so close.
Oh my goodness. Was that Steve Cubey there? That just snuck through.
Yeah, I believe it was.
That was the race leader.
Yeah, number 19, Steve Cubey, but inches away from losing that lead. You can see now, having to avoid that, he's lost some time to Christopher Craig. Now it's just down to a 6-second gap. But
that's why it's always good to build that gap up in case you get stuff like that.
Yeah, out of your control.
Christopher Craig, like you're saying, Christopher Craig is he's not letting that gap extend though. So rather than kind of having a little bit of gap to play with in case something happens, every second counts now. So really chipping at it. That's why I say it's never over. Something like that, just anywhere, anytime, out of nowhere, get the bad end of that. But good heads up driving there by Cubey. It's not his first rodeo. Good to be aware. And keep it on track.
And then furthermore, it's that mistake there by Gareth McAllister and that chicane gives Brad McCombs a 20-second lead for that GTD field. And he looked fast in practice, had some pace in the previous couple races, but had a couple incidents and looking really strong here at this Donington race. The note I wanted to hit upon, because we have not mentioned it so far in the first couple races, is that coming into this next season, we will have a different class structure format. So before we had the pros and AMs, and the pros were classified based on iRating, previous championships, or deliberately applying for it. But that was all decided before the season started. We're changing it a little bit to a system that is going to split them during the season based on qualifying pace. So in the first 3 qualifying sessions, attempted driver, and this is going to go for both LMP2 and GTD. The first 3 attempted qualifying sessions, you are in the top 35% of the class rounded up. You will be in Class A of that, the Group A of that class for the season. So we'll have A and B. which we did have a GT3 A and B a long time ago. But what's the key is that every position for at least the class of cars will be for points. So the leader of the race for the GT3s gets the standard 49 points. And if that's a A-class driver, the winner of the B-class driver group, he doesn't get 49 points as well. He gets whatever, if he finished third out of all the GT3s, he gets third place points. So it allows us to have two competitions at once. Get some guys who maybe don't get their names, get their limelight as much. Fighting for a championship there for the B class in both classes, but then we still get just even more on-track racing than we had last season, because you're still fighting for every position. It still matters, even if they're not the guy next to you in the championships.
Absolutely, it's always great to try and make tweaks necessary to have best racing, and it's definitely one of the best steps forward I think we've taken personally in the last few seasons. So really excited for that, and I know a lot of these guys will also be able to as well have some new AM Pro winners perhaps that we're looking forward to this season.
Yeah, we can see Nick Terrell finally making his way past Jeremy Barber here. Or we're kind of just let him go through there, it looks like. But yeah, the qualifying, the class structure system, taking on some inspiration from a league that I've seen use it, and it was a fantastic system. It worked so well. It really split the field into pretty equal-sized fields for each race, and then it gave guys who were typically running in the midfield. These races often had participation of 20 or 25 guys who were typically finishing 10th, 11th. These guys were finishing the season as winners for their classes. It was just able to split it up by that, and I think qualifying pace is probably the closest objective metric you're going to be able to get, because iRating is just not a reliable. Some people don't do a lot of officials. Some people get it by running touring cars or F3 cars. All kinds of different ways to earn that iRating.
Yeah, but I mean, you even see it in real life. You get the gentleman drivers and the super silvers, I like to call them. And so it's just no nonsense. Pure base, right? Just showing off, I think he was doing it.
Yeah, losing a tiny bit of time. I can say though, I'm nearly 2,000 and iRating, and it's not for GT3s. I would get destroyed by 2,000 iRating GT3 guys. I can only do it in the slow stuff or the front wheel drive stuff, so I fully understand that. Not a reliable metric.
Like my oval racing, you take me to a short track and I'm gonna look lost on there. So, but yeah, I think this is gonna be a great system. I know a lot of the drivers are looking forward to it. It's gonna provide some of the best racing we've had for 8th season now. I'm losing track where we're at.
Yeah, I know. I've got it counted by the years here, season 2 of 2023, but absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll give us some good racing, and I'm excited to see some of these names that we don't get to talk about as often getting the win and getting some interviews here in the booth,
Absolutely, and that's Jeremy Barber off in the second to last corner there. Just losing and locking up, but he has no damage, good to go, so we're going to see it right here.
Tapping Steve Cubet right behind him. I think he's just a little worried about...
yeah, just got a little twitch in the rear, and then as soon as it swings out in the grass, no going back. But really no harm, no foul there. No damage to either car. Steve Cubet, man, he must a couple cold rounds today. So, for as big of a gap as he's had, not the most stress-free race for him, is it?
Yeah, definitely has been boring. He's been quite quick, and Christopher Craig has been able to make a little bit of a dent on that lead, but we're now again coming down to pretty close to that 10-minute mark, and it's only going to be a handful more of laps. He's got to have a little bit more pace than that. You can see him just down the road there.
Yes, Cubet, I mean, like you're saying, Christopher Craig chipping away at the lead. Cubet seems to have found every little nook and cranny incident, even a little off-roading right there. But he seems to find all the action on track, be it for good or worse. So a few more of those. Christopher Craig might be smelling blood.
Yeah, he must have made a mistake there in Sector 1 as well. Was nearly a second off, but you can see Sector 2 and 3, while Craig was faster, much more evenly matched, and able to kind of hold steady at that 5.2 second lead range. Manages that last corner well. We haven't seen a lot of people manage it well.
That is, Kube was off in turn 1, I can confirm.
Got it.
Not too far. I think just brought the right side tires over, kept her straight, but not going to help you with your lap times on the green stuff there.
Yeah, it wasn't even enough to trigger the event for me, but enough to obviously lose him some time there. But getting away with it, and now has to deal with some lapping traffic. Play ball, one of those guys we have sitting there in the pits. Nicholas Paletti, his teammate, out here in 4th place. He's got 11 seconds to Jeff McDonald ahead of him.
Brad McCombs extending his gap out to about 20 or so seconds now. Doing a really good job.
Yeah, he's been putting in some really consistent laps. He's there in 1st place and hasn't really taken it too easy. Showing a lot of strength. You can see there, generally faster than McAllister behind, a couple laps a little slower, but consistently putting in that high 29s, low 30s. And at the fastest lap of the race that we got, we have a 1:19.454 for the LMP2 and a 1:27.835 on the G3. And that's looking at Steve Cube and Brad McComb. So yet again, our leaders holding the fastest laps, and that's usually to be expected. They're out there in front because they are fast.
And a little radio there, insight from Nick Terrell saying he spent the first 20 minutes learning the track. So making his way back to the field now.
His pace that he's got going now, putting in generally 22s. Right now, the leader, last lap, Steve Cube, well, it looks like I think he may have made a mistake. It was a 1:23.4, but Christopher Craig's last lap a 1:20.6 and Kelly a 1:20.5. So still has some time to gain to those guys in front. But you can see his fastest lap was lap 14, so continuing to speed up.
Race really stabilizing here towards the end. Although Christopher Craig down to 2 seconds. I think last time we checked in it was about 5. Wonder maybe, I'm not sure. Christopher Craig is just finding speed on the empty tank. Maybe Coupe is driving not to lose, perhaps. Could that be it? Do you think? 5 laps to go still.
Not immediately seeing the evidence of where all that gap went, but certainly challenging. You see him just down the road. He's got Jeff McDonald right between the two. Nearly come together there. Lucky to avoid that, but he's trying to get every second he can. Now that gap drops or grew to about 2.5.
Yeah, Christopher Craig there. I don't think he ever had any intention of being nice, and rightfully so. Of course, you never want to be that guy, especially the prototype car standing at the inside, but I think he was really reeling him in there. Only about 2.1 seconds, so not terrible. Still 4 laps to go here when they cross the line.
Yeah, it looks like Cube's had a couple of messy laps because it was faster lap 13, 14, pretty much equal in 15, and then 16 he had lost 3 seconds to Craig behind, and then lost another second on that last lap. So you can see that gap has dropped, well, had dropped to just under 2 seconds, but it looks like Craig is probably going to be faster on this lap.
Yeah, they're about to cross the line. With the previous lap, Coupe ran 21.2 compared to Christopher Craig's 20.2. So we're going to cross the line here and get a new set of lap times, as well as Coupe catching up to Nick Terrell. So if he intercepts him at the right time, really depends on how nice Nick wants to be, I guess. He could have a little more involvement, we'll say.
Talk about a response there by Coupe.
Absolutely, a 20.1. Absolutely flying. His best lap only 19.8. It's only 0.3 off his fastest lap.
Yeah,
and he needs it most too.
Yeah, that catch up with Christopher Craig, a little bit of a wake up call, and Coupe really pulled some pace out of his pocket. He's only got 5 minutes to go to keep that lead, although it continues to look like Craig is catching up though.
Kubey there helped very nicely by Nick Terrell. As I was saying, Nick could choose to get involved if he wanted to. Did opt to let him go by. Looks like Christopher Craig cleanly through as well. So very nice sportsmanship for Terrell to let this one play out on the track.
You can see there, Sector 2, that Craig had gained almost a whole second, then another 2/10 there in Sector 3. They were even the match in Sector 1, so that's him right there. It's sub 1 second, little loose on the gas there by Craig, but this is absolutely close enough to be, race on.
Absolutely, and just a quick pit stop update for those GTD cars. Nick Plutty and Brad McCombs are in for their stop. Gareth McAllister into the pits now, and Jeff McDonald, I believe, is still out on track working for the overcut. That's Christopher Craig here. Pulling on him about a second and a half.
Yeah, Jeff McDonald, the only guy who hasn't come into the pit stops yet. You can see there the lap number that everyone's coming to the pits. Lap 17 for both McCombs and Callister, and then 11 for Claybaugh before having to park that car. So Paletti had the pit lap 4. I don't know if that was for damage, but that's deep enough that would cover his pit stop that he needed to make.
Yeah, I mean, I'm only reading about 3 laps left, so the pit window with these almost, call it 90% full fuel tanks, 90% race distance that is. Pit window's open right away, so if you had a little bit of damage. That's what I was saying earlier, those first 2 races, it kind of surprised me to see anyone maybe try and get out of traffic like that earlier on with a pit stop in the first 5-6 laps. So we'll see where that puts Nicholas Plutty. I know the field spread out, a little bit of smoke there, tires locked.
Speaking of Paletti, McDonald trying that fuel strat actually goes off track, and Paletti claims that spot from him.
Absolutely. Christopher Craig now within 3/10. I think that was Steve Kubey. That was actually locking up to the hairpin there, and yes, it was. That front right tire.
They're looking at 3 laps ago.
Yeah, it looks like 2 laps to go here. So the leader will get the white flag next time by. It's Christopher Craig chasing him down, doing everything he can. He's been all in roll race, and it seems like every time he gets close, something a little wild happens. And I wonder if he can make it stick here right at the very end.
Yeah, he worked really hard to stay within touch of oh, I'm looking at the wrong part. You can see there had made huge gains 5 laps ago, but has continued to chip that down. Fortunately, it looks like he's lost a little bit of ground on this lap, and yeah, if there's 1 lap to go, he's going to have something real special for the end here.
Absolutely. The 3/10 has now turned into about 9. Kubey runs a little wide off the apex. Christopher Craig taking that tighter line. Going up now to the final corner. We've seen mistakes here all day, every day. The sun clearing up a little bit, so that's going to be helpful, everybody. And Christopher Craig misses the apex, and it's a little bit of the elevation change. And is that Mr. Nick Carroll there?
Yep.
Letting him know he's a and unfortunately, barring a meteor strike, I think that is going to be Kubey. Although we did see Patrick Ripley with penalties at the end of Suzuka, so make sure you don't cut your corners here in the final few laps. And it looks like it's going to be him and Brad McCombs. Gareth McAllister kind of completing the cycle here at the first, second, and third.
That's a strong race for Brad McCombs. Had that 20-second gap pretty early, honestly, and has not given away any of it, despite running ahead by so much of a lead. He's decided to not let McAllister get any time on him, and be there. Nicholas Paletti able to hold third, pretty confident.
Brad McCombs running in the mid-30s right now. A lot of other guys running 28.4s, even a low 29. So Brad really phoning it in, we'll say, huh?
Yeah.
Just making sure covers all his bases, doesn't run out of fuel, keeps the tires on the car. No need to do anything silly. Watch out for that lap traffic.
Steve Kubey coming through this final corner here. Toughest braking zone that we've seen for all these drivers, both classes. Makes it through cleanly. Gonna win by a good 5 or 6 second margin. Steve Kubey with the win here in Donington for race 3, final race of our preseason event.
And it looks like actually they're gonna get 1 more lap here.
Oh,
I believe.
That must be the white flag there. So they came very close.
The clock struck 0 as he was in the middle of the final corner, but I guess not enough time for the flagman Barney to get the green flag out of his hand. So they're gonna actually go one more, which is gonna be news to Steve Coubet.
Yeah,
But
that's maybe not the exact thing that he wanted to hear, but looked strong enough on the last lap. Just needs to stay on the track to win this here. 5.5 seconds behind.
I wonder. Interesting if some of the GT3 cars, maybe the extra lap might catch him out on fuel. You never know. Crazier things have happened.
Yeah, especially with Paletti there pitting lap 4.
Now, their timing, they're going to get to zero. You know, how do I phrase this? They were kind of going to be on the track where they're going to be regardless, so their laps probably aren't as affected as the LMP2s. But interesting to see something happens now, as it looks like Christopher Craig and Steve Coubet are going to actually take the final point for real.
Steve Coubet
And
finally crossed the line.
Steve Coubet crossed the
Winner
line.
again. 2 wins, 2 laps. Winner here for Donington Park Circuit. Wonderful set of races that we've had here. Christopher Craig came in second. Nick Terrell crossed the line there in 4th. Kelly come through these last couple corners. And that is Brad McCombs there, our race leader for the GT3s, right behind him. A little bit of a lockup by Kelly.
Oh, what are we talking about? You got to make sure you get through the final 2 corners there. Brad McCombs luckily didn't stuck on the wall and swerved back and forth there.
Finish first, you must first finish.
That is exactly it. And I believe that's the biggest margin of all 3 of our races in GTD, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was a pretty dominant win. Was able to avoid the incidents. Gareth McAllister coming in there second. Really strong showing for a guy who's in the Ford GT, absolutely. And really just had only made a couple mistakes. Nicholas Paletti there coming in P3. We have our train of podium sitters now.
One little love tap there as well. And little Doge Squad picture there coming up on the broadcast as well. As we see Jeff McDonald leave. I believe it was actually his in-lap as well. These guys are all finished up.
Jeff McDonald, our final finisher here. Crossing the line, 4th place. And Nick Terrell.
And there goes
hunting around.
and the mystery machine, the catch fence there.
That was wonderful.
Always good to have a little bit of fun at the end of the race.
So looking at our results for the race. For our 5-man field for LMP2, Steve Coubet winning the race by nearly 5 seconds over Christopher Craig in 2nd place. John Kelly coming in 3rd. Nick Terrell 4th. And Jeremy Barber finishing in.
As well as for the GTD class, Brad McCombs with a, that says 12 seconds?
He
Is that
like
correct?
stopped
Oh,
at the line.
Yeah, slowing up at the line there. Anyways, basically, however much you wanted to win by, Gareth McAllister, followed by Nicholas Paletti, Jeff McDonald, Aaron Klebaugh, Mark Dillon Jr., Tony Watson, and Patrick Ripley.
A great set of races. It was a lot of fun to watch, and it's good to get this stuff tested out. So I was, little bit of some changes here in the broadcast booth. Of course, we had Tom last couple seasons. We're sad to miss him, but looking to continue this league broadcast, and a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure you are as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. You guys make it look so easy. I'm finding out today that there's a reason I'm in preseason too. It's not as simple as you and Tom made it look all season, but getting more comfortable slowly, having a lot of fun, and I know all the drivers really looking forward to a great season, and glad to be in the broadcast with you, ZP.
Yep, we got some good storylines coming into the season, and looking forward to it. We will see you guys next week.
Oh, can we catch Steve Coubet real quick?
Oh, yeah, go for it, yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, Steve, have us in the booth.
Hey, I'm here.
How'd you find that one? That one, it looked like, every time you got a gap, you seem to find all the action on track and then some, whether it be spinning cars, lap traffic, meteor strikes, dinosaurs. It looks like you saw it all. Probably
Yeah, it's good.
the most stressful runaway win we've seen in a long time. what was your view on that one? How gripping the
Uh,
steering wheel
I-
pretty hard?
I think it was great training if I decide to do this series.
How familiar were you with Donington? I know me and Zach were talking about it's not necessarily the most popular track. Was this something you ran a lot of laps on, or was this just kind of using
Yeah.
everything you had in the back pocket?
Well, no. When I first joined iRacing, of course, the MX5 was in it, so I've done a bunch of laps here and that. And one of the leagues I was in did the F3, so I'm pretty familiar with both layouts. So when I saw Donington, I said I wasn't going to stick around, but when I saw this was the track, I said I'll give it another go.
Well, awesome to finish off the night. Always better to go to bed a winner. So, well, congratulations. It was not the easiest of races, but a lot of fun. Glad everybody out, and looking forward to seeing you go after it next season.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
All right, night.
And finally, we have Jeremy here. Can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Sweet.
So, Jeremy, of course, the storyline of the night is the racing with 1 foot. How'd you find it out there?
Awful. I want 2 feet back.
Well, it was certainly a valiant effort. How are you looking forward to the beginning of the actual season? Looking forward to that?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it actually being able to race in the first season now that I'm in a boot and have some time off, but I feel like it'd be fun. I'm going to try and shoot for the LMP2. If not, I'll be back in the GT3.
Oh, that's awesome. Hope you're feeling a little bit better. I know it's not always fun, but great to see people, fighting through it. Glad to have you out. Looking forward to seeing a well-rested and recovered Jeremy out there for the start of next season. So thank you for stopping by, and good luck for the future.
Yeah, thank you guys for broadcasting. It was great to see it.
Thank you.
Well, it's a good few races to watch. Again, look forward to the season. Season starts next week, March 15th, and first race will be at Le Mans Historic. So we ran that last season, went great. So no chicanes, running all the way down the Mulsanne, full speed, and I think it'll be a great one. So again, see us back here, same spot next week, March 15th at 7. Server opens 7 p.m. Eastern, and we hope to see everyone there.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Gonna be a fun track. Have some lock bumpers pushing on the front straight. It's gonna be an awesome time.
All right. Good night, everyone. See you next week.